Welcome to this edition of Talk with TAS Live. Where has the year gone? Can you believe it? It is already May, and it's the middle of May, as a matter of fact. So the year 2020 has gone by very quickly. But, when I thought about it being May the 15th, and we're in the 5th month of the year, I thought, okay, it's time for us to do an evaluation. An evaluation? Yes. It's the time where you look to see if things that you've added to your life or things that you thought you were going to add, if they're working for you. Now, when you begin to examine to see if these things are working for you, you have to do a little heavy lifting. Sometimes we add things or people or substances because we think we've got something missing. And we may have something missing. We may be feeling empty. But the real thing is that we have to examine is, why are we feeling empty? Why is there something missing? Why do we feel that we need to add something, someone, or some substance to whatever we're doing in our lives? Well, it's like when you cook. I'm a cook and I love inventing recipes. I love taking an existing recipe and experimenting with it. But let's just say you're going to cook your favorite Italian pasta dish. So, of course, you're going to add your seasonings or your herbs. So you're going to add some garlic, maybe some onion, oregano, rosemary, thyme. Oh, of course, we got to have some basil. And then you're like, oh, I think I want to add some cumin. A little cumin certainly can't hurt. So you add your cumin. And then once your dish is ready, you excitedly taste your dish. And then it's like you're emotional. The first thing is just an emotional reaction. Well, now it could be a positive emotional reaction, or it could be that reaction that's like, something's wrong. What's wrong with my dish? It's something, it just doesn't quite taste the way that I anticipated it tasting. So you begin to think about it. You're like, well, I added my Italian herbs. Yes, and you run down the list in your mind. You might even look on your counter and pull them out of the cabinet again and say, yeah, I added all of that. But something's wrong with my dish. It doesn't taste like it should. You try to understand why your dish has done something that you didn't expect it. Meaning that there's been an unexpected occurrence and it doesn't taste the way it should. Again, you reflect on all the ingredients. You're looking at them. You're double checking. And then out the corner of your eye, you see the container of cumin. And then you're like, oh yeah, I added cumin also. And then you realize, OMG, I added more cumin than I did the Italian herbs. Oh, you were not expecting the cumin to overpower the Italian herbs, but it did. There's no need to point an accusing finger at yourself or anyone else. You expected one result, but got another one. Now, what do you do about it? Whatever you may do will rock the boat. Rock the boat? Yeah, it's going to rock the boat. However, we have to shift our focus from the cumin to the dish, how the whole dish tastes. The cumin was only one ingredient that you put in there. Likewise, for each of us, we have to shift our focus from the different substances, things, or people that we invite into our life to just us, because it's us. We can't blame those people, those things, or those substances for how we are behaving or how our lives are turning out. Often, we want to change our circumstances, but we're uncomfortable rocking the boat. Mike Murdoch says, if you want something you've never had, you've got to be willing to do something you've never done before. If you're ready to try an unfamiliar process, I want you to consider this. One, we have to liberate ourselves from the invisible constraints that we place on ourselves. And normally we kind of lock our minds down. And we do that and reinforce it through our emotions. Oh, I can't do this. Well, it's not going to turn out like so-and-so. People are going to judge me. Those are those invisible constraints that our emotions and our mind use to lock us down. Also, we've got to release ourselves from the constraints that we allow others to place on us. No one controls who you are unless you give them the control. So you have to take that control back. Think about it. The people that you allow to control or imprison you, are they in prison? It may appear sometimes that they're not, but more times than not, people who seek to control others are looking for some sort of control in their life. And remember, for DR.TAS, control is always a defense mechanism. It's how we protect ourselves. So I'm trying to protect myself by controlling someone else. But it's up to you whether or not you allow that individual to control you. It doesn't mean that they're better. It doesn't mean that they've necessarily got it all going on. It just appears that way. And then you allow that person and what they do to you and their appearance to make you feel some kind of way. And then you're in prison. So you've got to release yourself from that thinking so that you can stay focused on you. Thirdly, freeing your mind. You know, we have these thoughts, and I've been talking about these thoughts that come through our mind, and we've got to learn to control them. Our thoughts determine what we do. It drives our emotions. Emotions drive our thoughts. So it's like a back and forth pull. We've got to learn to free our mind and focus on positive things. It's much easier to focus on the negative. I'm human just like everybody else, and I have to snap myself out of it. It's like, no. Things may not be exactly the way I want them to be, but they're sure a whole lot better than what they could be. So it's a matter of changing how I look at the glass. Is it half empty or is it half full? We have to reframe how we see things. And that takes practice, and it's okay. Sometimes you have to constantly reframe all day long just to get through the day. But the goal is to get through that day in a positive manner. Fourth, you got to determine what success looks like for you. Success for me is not going to be success for you. Some people want diamonds, they want jewelry, they want fancy cars, they like name brand clothes, all of those things. And there's nothing wrong with it. They like big titles. But I may want comfort. I may want peace of mind. I may want to just achieve the goals that I think are important for me. Whatever it is that you use to measure success, you've got to determine what that is and be willing to stick to it regardless of how others measure their success. In my book, Stronger, I tell you, do not let someone else's barometer dictate how you are going to measure your successes, who you are as a person. It's not about anybody else. It's about you. You are the most important individual in the equation. 5, after you've gone through those 4 steps, which the first step was liberating yourself from those invisible, unrealistic constraints that we place on ourselves. 2, releasing yourself from the constraints that others place on us. 3, free your mind from those negative thoughts and learn how to think outside of the box. 4, determine what success looks like for you. And then 5, we've got to develop a success plan and go get it. I think she says, go get your blessing. You got to go get it. You got to work the plan. It doesn't profit you to have a plan that sits nicely on a sheet of paper or on your laptop and you don't work it. You have to work the plan. If we think back to the beginning of time, there was a plan. And when the great architect put that plan in motion, things began to shift, but he had to activate it. He activated a plan. We likewise have to activate a plan. When you activate the plan, you go back and you reflect on your progress. If the progress that you're seeking is not there, then you go back and you modify the plan. Now, what do you mean, DR.TAS? God created man. He created the earth and then he created man. And then he gave man a helpmeet. Then man and the helpmeet decided that they wanted to know more. So they ate of the forbidden fruit. Then God had to move them out of the Garden of Eden. He had to shift the plan. Okay, so then things started to unfold a different way. But understand, we're talking God now, which means he already knew that that was going to occur. But for us as man, when things don't go the way we want them to, don't give up, don't get exasperated. You can feel some kind of way for a little while. But then what you have to do is evaluate the plan again, input new steps, and then activate the steps. If God had a plan, created the plan, the earth and man, then shifted, and then did something slightly different, why wouldn't we shift? Why would we not shift? He was the first example of how you create something and then shift when you had to shift. So certainly we can shift. But the one thing that makes it a little different for us, sometimes, we feel like, what are my peeps doing? What's my mom and my dad is saying? My significant other, my girlfriends and my sorors and my ladies and my all these other different sisters and all these different things. I'm naming organizations now. Frat. What do they feel about it? What would they say? Understand, if it's to be, it's up to you. You can't wait on someone else to come through and champion your goal. Why would you want them to? Because yes, it's nice to have support, don't get me wrong. But if I'm going to move the ball on the court or on the field, I got to move it. Yeah, I'm going to have some supporting people, some supporting teammates, but I got to be able to pick up the ball and play my role. You got to learn to play your role in this thing about changing who you are and gaining what you want. So, the unexpected is going to occur in all of our lives. Again, I thought I was going to have this great Italian pasta dish, but that cumin overpowered it. It was unexpected. But the thing you got to remember is you don't get caught up in the unexpected because it's going to happen. Instead, you got to focus on your success plan and learn it's okay to rock the boat. Rock the boat. Because if you rock your boat, you can always steady your boat again. Remember, unexpected things are going to occur and you're going to have to rock the boat. But you decide to rock your boat. And if you make the decision to rock your boat, you can steady your boat. Because the waves will come in everybody's life and the wind is going to blow. But if you stay focused on your success plan, you can steady your boat. This has been Talk with TAS Live. As always, remember to take care of you and rock your boat from time to time. Have a great one. Bye now.